Hi guys, this is Claw What If. Welcome back to another What If story. Now this is What If Deku had an ice quirk called Jack Frost, Part 19. As we cut to the League of Villains, as the sports festival is being broadcast, through TV all around the world, so they're watching the event, like I said in one of the parts prior. You see why I told you, ladies and gentlemen, to keep an eye attention to that one specifically. If he would use the quirk without any restraints, without holding back, I could probably estimate a good portion of Japan would be frozen. If he can't, if he's, sorry, and I'm not totally sure on that, he might be able to freeze all Japan if he wanted to. Especially, he is the most logical choice for the success, for the choose, for All Might's quirk. If he had a successor, it would be Izuku Midoriya. As you have Toga been listening while watching the television, paying attention to the match, as Mustard complained, "Come on, this is boring. I want to watch something else." As Mustard goes for the controller for the TV remote, as Toga throws her knife right next to the TV remote, almost piercing his hands, as Mustard's like, "What the hell, Toga? Don't you dare, don't you dare touch the TV. If you interrupt, if you interrupt me having a, if you change that channel, you're as good as dead." As Toga turns her head, as she smiles, "Okay." As Mustard's like, "Okay," as he backs away. As she continues watching television, as it's about to begin the match between him and his sister, Izuku and his sister Kennedy. As Diablo sees Kirigiri walk in with a man with a white lab coat comes in, as Kirigiri gestures, "Master Diablo, the doctor is here to see you. What can I what can I do for you, good doctor?" As the doctor starts rambling on about this and that, as Diablo, "Kirigiri, is the man all right? He seems to be off his rocker." "Sorry about that, Diablo." As Kirigiri gets Dr. Ojiko eh, their attention, "My apologies. My apologize. Oh, sorry. My apologies, Diablo. I am Dr. Ujiko. I believe the master told you about the operation." As he's like, "Yes, I'm well aware. It is time." As very well. I've seen enough what of Easy could do so far. Dobby, you're in command. Kirigiri, have everyone follow the plan. Dobby, you'll be in charge on the field while I'm gone. And if I come back and you guys killed each other, I won't be very happy. Whoever survives, I'll kill you myself. Understood?" As yes, sir. As very good. But beyond that, you can do whatever you want. Toga jumps up. "Well, I'll be right back." As she goes towards the bathroom, as Mustard's like, "Where do you think you're going?" "To the bathroom. Got a problem with that?" As she turns to give him that evil look she gives people that she doesn't like. As Mustard, backs off. That's what I thought. as she goes off to the bathroom. As Toga walks in one of the bathrooms way in the back, as she shuts the door, locks it, then puts her ear against the door, listening in from the outside, see if anyone is spying on her. As she as she reaches in her shirt, as she pulls out a small communication device. This is Blood Wasp reporting in to home base. Blood Wasp, this is the White Queen. Update me. Ma'am, something's big happening. A doctor walked in today. Going on something about an operation. Whose operation? The one in charge for right now. Diablo. Apparently the big boss man, I haven't seen him myself, but he leaves everything in Diablo's hands. I don't know what this operation is, but it can't be good. The man is Diablo's. He looks fine to me, so I don't think he's sick. What was the doctor's name? Ojiko, I believe, ma'am. Very good. I'm pulling you out. Ma'am, why? It's best to back off for now. You won't be able to get any more information. The students from UA are going to be doing a internships pretty soon. During the internships, I'm going to have Agent Jack Frost to track you down and capture you. We can't let the villains get suspicious of your disappearance. And this will give you a perfect opportunity for you to finally meet him, for once. Even though you keep nagging me about that girl. Come on, Mom. I want to see my cousin. Been watching him fight through the sports festival. He's quite powerful. Alright, calm down, dear. And, sweetheart, Ezekiel won't know that you're one of us. So he might be a little rough. But once you go into custody, I'll explain everything once we get to that point. Is there anything else you need to report? No, Mom. Very well. I'll talk to you when you're out of your when you finish your mission. As Toga and well, she actually wouldn't be Toga. She would be basically Himiko Midori, I think. I think Toga is her last name and Himiko is her first name. If I remember that right. I think I am. I'm almost positive, but like not 100% positive, but I'm pretty positive that that's how that is. Toga's not Toga's not her biological daughter, adopted. She kept Toga away from the agent life as much as possible, but she got too curious because Toga family dumped Toga at an orphanage. And so when her quirk came up, of unique quirks that the Hero Suppress Task Force likes to keep a lookout for, her quirk pop into the registry, and that's when she adopted Toga from that spot from pretty young. As we cut to Easy Guzan, I totally, draw a blank on her name right now. I think I named her Lilith, but I'm not totally sure on that. But anyways, as she picks up the phone, as she dials it, Nezu. Ah, let's just call her Lilith if I am. I think it's Lilith. I'm not totally sure. What can I do for you, dear? I have the location of I have some I have some information to relay to the heroes. Now, all right. When do you want me to strike? I want you to hold up for now. Are you sure, sir? We have their location. Yeah, but the big boss, he hasn't showed his face yet. No, sir. But whatever's going on over there, what sort of operation that villain Diablo's going through, it's not going to be normal. I understand, but we don't know enough information to strike. Want you to hold off for now. Very well, sir. Anything else? No. I pulled I pulled one of my agents out. I already have her extraction ready planned out already. Very well. I'll leave it to you. As Nezu shuts as Nezu ends the phone call. As we cut back to the stadium, as Izuku's in a fighting stance, so is Kennedy. As soon as she steps 1 foot forward, so does Izuku, still in a fighting stance, as they're circling around the ring, looking for a weakness in their form. As Izuku and Kennedy construct eye shurikens, as they threw at each other, as they all of the blades collide, as it's another draw. As Kennedy gives up a smirk off, as she gets in a running stance, as she blitz strictly towards Izuku, throwing ice, ice shurikens at Izuku while she's running at him. As Kennedy goes for a strike, as Izuku moves her arm, dodging the blow, as he goes to right hook her right at the face, as she blocks that move, as she blocks it, as Izuku jumps backwards, but Kennedy jumped forwards, grabbed his head, and lift him up and slam it into the arena ground. As she kicks him in the side, as he goes flying a little bit to the other side of the arena ground. As Momo and as Momo asks, shouldn't we stop this? As Shota's there with them by now. No, dear, you don't have to worry about that. That's she says taking it seriously. That's all. It's how they normally do. It's how they normally go about it. As Inko hears someone yelling at Kennedy, as it's Nedre, as Nedre's yelling at her, you're taking this too far. Kennedy, you're taking this way too far. He's only a first year and he's your brother. As Kennedy's like, they're in earshot. As she's like not in the ring, but she's like right next to the edge of it. And she's like, I know you mean well, Nedre. Love you for it. I truly do, but stay out of stay out of my business when it comes to my brother. Anyways, that little love tap, it was nothing. He's had worse. If the idiot wouldn't stop holding back, then I wouldn't have to beat him this severely. It's his own fault, really. I'm only doing what a loving sister would all a bigger sister should do. As Izuku gets up, as he coughs a little bit of blood. Are you done wasting my time, Izuku? Come at me full force or don't come at me at all. As Izuku spits out a little bit of blood out of his mouth, as he reaches his hands, both his hands point, sorry, he points both his hands while his arm is stretched out towards the ground. As two eye constructs comes out, oh, sorry, gets created as everyone's face is shocked. Everyone that wasn't at the USJ that's seen it or know about it, it's a new little trick that Izuku had. He hasn't really used too much. As the two ice contracts look at Izuku, as Izuku, I don't know if he was established as Izuku's taker, as they blitz towards Kinode, as they're it's now technically it's 2-on-1, but technically it would be like 3-on-1, but Izuku's not taking part in it thus yet. As one of them lunge towards Kinode, as she creates two ice pillars from the opposite side of each other as they come crushing down onto the ice construct as it crumbles. As one of them gets close up to Kinde, swinging its claws at her, as she dodges out of the way, but it did pierce her cheek. As she touches her cheek, as she sees it drew blood. Clever, brother, very clever. As the last one rushes towards her, as she creates, a big humongous ice hammer, as she smashes it to the ground, crushing its skull as she just continues to smash it, just destroying the rest of the body. As she's like, where is Izuku? As she saw the corner of her eye, a humongous skeleton wielding a ice scythe slashing down towards her. You see the large skeleton slamming down with an ice scythe down, but she had enough time to create her ice sword as she is getting pushed in the ground as the scythe's trying to push pressure as she's has her sword against it. As Kennedy gather her balance, as she uses all her might, as she pushes the sword upwards. As soon as she pushed the sword upwards, as she had enough room to move, as she blitzed to the right, as the scythe comes falling down, as she jumps on top of the scythe, as she slices the head off of the ice skeleton, as she jumped upwards and slicing the skeleton in half. As soon as the skeleton was enough in half, Izuku charges right through it, as he created a ice katana in mid-flight. As he does a sideways, a side slash. As Kinde reflects it, as they begin a sword battle throughout the whole arena floor. Well, it's the arena floor. They're still inside, so the matches hasn't been over thus yet. As Kennedy reflects one blow, as she nails Izuku in the face with the back of the sword handle, as she tries to slice him, as Izuku blocks as Izuku blocks, goes to the left, swings to chop her neck off, as she reflects that, as she knees him in the stomach, as she side kicks him back of the head as Izuku goes flying backwards as he catches his descent. How far as he grind his sword into the ground, stopping his descent of his momentum. Because descent would be up in air, but yeah, he's still on the ground. So as Izuku's breathing heavy, I don't have a choice. I have to use it. As very well, sister, you win. I'll I'll show you what I have up my sleeve. As he dusts himself off, as he sees his sword, as his ice sword is shattered, it's cracked. As he drops it, Izuku's eyes glow blue, a bright blue color. As Izuku says one phrase, Winter Wonderland. As immediately the arena turns to ice. Just the arena grounds, just the fighting grounds, not anyone in this. Sorry, anyone else that's in bleachers or anything like that. Just the arena fighting grounds, or I forget what I keep forgetting the name of it for some reason. Yeah, I'm probably whatever. It doesn't really matter, but as Izuku, as Kennedy was confused by this ability or whatever this is, as immediately several ice hands come charging at her in a fist as she jumps out of the way as she takes her ice sword slice through a couple of them as she's hopping on top of each other, hopping on top of them. As she hops on one slice, it destroys it. As she gets into a sword stance for a fast draw. As Kennedy rapidly swings her sword, as don't know the best way to ice sword strikes. It's basically ice being thrown out of the sword in forms of like a blade, like not a actual blade, but it's hard to explain. I might be just too stoned, but yeah. Say she's each every time she swings her sword, she's throwing ice spikes at Izuku, so it's a lot more easier to explain or me to visualize it. As Humongous ice hand comes to block the spikes, aiming towards Izuku. You've lost this, sister. Especially now. Everything's under my control. I have complete control over this domain now. As long as Winter Wonderland's active, this is my world. That might be true for now, brother. But how long can you keep it up? Something like this would be very taxing. As she rushes forward, keeps rushing forward as she gets catched by as she gets catched by one of the ice hands as they begin squeezing her. But unfortunately, she has her sword leaning against the has her sword against her chest. Still, as she had enough time to prostrate herself to protect her for somehow. As the hand starts to squeeze, as she begins to yell, scream basically, not in pain, but one of those don't fuck with me screams. As she slices right through it, as she goes strictly, continues to go towards Midoriya, as Midoriya is sliding across the ground, as she's trying to swing at him, as she's missing. You might want to pay attention, sister, as he points up. As she sees several ice shards up in the air, dodge that. As he gives as he cracks a grin, as they all come crushing down, as Kennedy jumps backwards as she's dodging from left to right, as it one pierced her arm, her shoulder, as she's holding on to her shoulder, as she's breathing heavy. So is Izuku. He's on his last legs. As Kennedy has a bright smile on her face, as she's impressed, very impressed. Impressive, little brother. You've outdone yourself this time. Izuku's throwing ice spikes at her, while ice spikes are shooting out of the ground. As Kennedy is just swiping out of the way. Your technique is very powerful indeed. But your constructs, they're slowing down. That means you're on your last limb. I win. Kennedy sees Izuku's eyes flicker between glowing and not glowing. As Izuku's like, I refuse to. I won't lose this. As Izuku's, pushing forward. You have Izuku walking towards his sister as his face is covered in frost. As, yeah, he has been working his quirk more than he normally doesn't. He normally does. So he does have some sort of frostbite, like was typical with when he comes to ice quirks. It just takes a lot more for him. His body's more meant for it than anything else. But he does have some sort of drawback in using Winter Wonderland this long, because he's only been able to do short bursts of using that ability, but full on use this is the longest he's had this ability activated. This technique. As Izuku's about to go in, as he stops, as he's about to fall over, as Kennedy catches him. I'm not done yet, sister. I can still fight. Oh, you're done, Izuku. You did well. I'm not that weak, sister. Enough. As she flicks him in the middle of the forehead. You might have lost today, dear brother, but you surpassed me one day. Your quirk is a lot more powerful than mine. But serious talk now, brother. You need to stop holding back so much. It's going to get you killed. As a stretcher comes up, as they lift him up on a stretcher. He's too wiped out to move. As Kennedy walks with the staff that's taking Izuku to recovery, girl. A few hours has passed as Momo and Shota come and burst in as she sees Izuku recovering from a little bump in the noggin as recovery walks out angry because Izuku went way too far. As they rush over to Izuku, make sure he's alright. You reach on as he reaches for his ribs, he grunts in pain. Damn, sister, you didn't need to hit me that hard. Well, if you weren't being so stubborn and showing me your full power full on, then you wouldn't have got hurt. That's your fault. As she gets up, I'll see myself out, brother. I'll let you. I'll give you. I'll give you two. Sorry. I'll give you two some privacy. As she stops in the doorway, but Ezekiel, you did good. You almost beat me this time. As she turns back to look at Ezekiel, as she gives him a genuine smile as she walks out the door. As soon as Kennedy walks out the door, as she sees her mother, as she greets her, so how is Ezekiel doing? He's doing fine. He's with his two girlfriends. That's hard to get used to. As Inko agrees, as Kennedy's like, I have my doubts about the Todoroki girl, but the black hair girl, Momo Yadarozu, I like that one. As Inko laughs, as nervously, because how overprotective her daughter could be over Izuku, it's scares her sometimes. As of Inko's military work and being a hero, a lot of times Izuku was being taken care of by his elder sister when Inko wasn't around, and that was quite a lot because she had to go into the whole mother role. Izuku, yeah, so she had to do the whole mother role. She's a lot more protective. She treats Izuku more like a son than actual, brother when it comes down to it. But that's where we're gonna stop it there. In the next part, we'll go through the internships and all that fun stuff. So, hope you guys have a awesome night and day, judging by time zones. All right, bye.